Animula Nook is an upcoming cozy life simulation game where you've been shrunk down to a miniature size and get to explore the big world from a new perspective. Although at first glance this game might seem too good to be true, it's very much real, and I've been able to get my hands on some extensive gameplay with the very first alpha test. Hello friends, Sarah Sunstone here, and welcome back to Thinking Out Loud. In today's episode, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the Animula Nook Alpha test, including all the main features, mechanics, and some charming little details that I just love. Please keep in mind that this is the first preview and an earlier alpha version of the game, so everything is still a work in progress and subject to change for the full release. Also, a special note that I've kept everything in this video as spoiler-free as possible in terms of the storyline and cutscenes, so you'll get to experience that for yourself when the game releases. Please shine the lovely like button if you're excited to learn more about Animula Nook, and make sure to subscribe to my channel with your notifications on for more cozy content. Otherwise, without any further ado, let's get right into it. So as previously mentioned, in Animula Nook, you're playing as this tiny little character, which is called a wish weaver, so you do get to customize your very own mini. I think character customization is such an important part of these types of games. So in the beginning of the game, you get to create your character. It's like the first thing you do, and you're gonna get to select between a number of different options. So we do have an assortment of skin tones. They have added one additional dark skin shade since the initial look at character customization was shared. That's good. I think we can do better. I think we can get some more options for darker skin tones. So would love to see that even further updated for the full release. But you can pick your skin tone, and then next you will select a hairstyle. There are 8 starter hairstyles to choose from, along with 10 different hair colors. There is a nice variety of colors. I appreciate that there's some fun shades as well as some more natural shades. However, we're definitely missing black here. There's no option for black hair in the starter customization interface. And then the other thing I would love to see added here would be some additional textured options. Now do keep in mind there will be more hairstyles available to unlock once you actually get into the game. That goes for textured options as well as other options. But I think having at least one additional textured option for the beginning of your gameplay to start off with, at the very least, would be very nice. So once you settle on your hairstyle and color, you're gonna go on to begin customizing your face. So the aspects of your face that are customizable include the shape of your eyes. So here there were 5 different eye shapes to choose from. And then separately, you'll also be customizing the pupils. So the one feedback here I would give is it would be nice to see these different pupil styles interchangeable with colors. Because for example, if you want it to have button eyes, you would have to have blue eyes in that case. So then you have your eyebrow options. Now, I wasn't able to customize the color of this one separately. That would be great to see as well. But there were 8 different eyebrow shapes, so you could pick between those. Then the final area of customization before moving on to picking your outfit was what they're calling face makeup. Now this includes blushes, this includes little freckles, little moles, and even under eye circles. So if being a little bit sleepy is part of your personality, you're all good to go. This is another thing that you couldn't customize the color of, so I don't know if they'll plan to add something like that. That could be fun for sure. So then you are going to be picking your starter outfit. There is a good amount of options here to choose from, so you're gonna pick a top and a bottom. There's 8 different tops to choose from and 7 different bottoms in the beginning. Again, there will be more clothing options available once you get into the game, but this is what you're picking to start with. As you can see for the tops, there's different options for sleeve length. There's, a t-shirt, there's a sweater, there's a hoodie, a tank top. For bottoms, we also have, a few different pant options, some shorts, as well as skirts. So you can either pick a starter top and bottom, or you can pick the starter jumpsuit instead. From there, you can also choose some socks, which are separate from the shoes. So there were 7 different options for socks. Again, lots of variety here, I would say, with different lengths, patterns, and colors. And then there were 8 different options for shoes. The shoes are huge. It's so funny because we've shrunk down, but it's almost like our shoe size didn't quite catch up to the rest of us. So there's different runners, there's some slides, boots, slippers, stuff like that. It's very cute. And you can also pick some starter accessories, which is nice. So there's 4 different hats that you can choose from if you want to start off with with a cute little hat. And then you can actually start with glasses, which I personally think should be the case for any game. I think you should be able to start with glasses because a lot of us do wear glasses. Unfortunately, here there was only more of a sunglasses style, and the other one not really being an everyday kind of frame. So just seeing one simple everyday frame would be nice here too. And then once you've settled with your character customization, you lock that in, you pick your name for your Wish Weaver, and you also get to pick your Whoopa cat companion. So this is a very difficult decision. They are all so cute. In the alpha test here, there were 5 different Whoopa cats, each with their own fur, color, and pattern. So you can preview them here, which is great. As you can see, I did pick the pink one. Big shocker. This little guy is going to be your companion in the world. They symbolize good luck, good fortune, and we will talk a little bit more about the Whoopa cat later. One other thing that I wanted to cover here was just to give you an idea of all of the different customization options that are going to be available once you get into the game, because you can purchase additional cosmetics with earned in-game currency. So there's even more adorable tops to choose from. There's additional bottoms with, different colors and styles. There's also additional jumpsuits, so those full one-piece outfits. There's some really cute ones and some cool ones. I feel like there's a really good variety of styles and aesthetics so far, even just for it being an alpha build of the game. There's more socks you can pick, some little leg warmers. There's tons more shoes that you can purchase, boots, sandals, all of that. Here is where you can purchase additional color variants of either the hairstyle you already got or of a different hairstyle, either one from that initial character creator, or there's also completely new hairstyles that weren't a part of that initial customization. This is actually where there is one single black hairstyle. It looks so awesome, but I think that black hair color just has to be in the beginning character customization. I mean, black has to be one of the most common hair colors out there, so I think that absolutely needs to be added as an option in the beginning. So like the hairstyles, you can purchase any of the other customization elements from that starting customization interface that you didn't pick. So if you want to get a different skin tone, if you want to get different eyebrows, eye shapes, pupils, all of that, you can add those to your collection in addition to the face makeup. Then you can also collect a bunch of different accessories, and the categories for accessories are very impressive. So we have hats, we have hair accessories that are separate from hats. We also have face accessories like glasses. We also have neck accessories, so for example, a necklace or a scarf. There's ear accessories, so like earrings. There's also wrist accessories, so gloves and bracelets. And then there's even waist accessories and handheld items. So I absolutely love the variety of categories for customization. I think it'll be so fun to unlock and collect a bunch of fashion items and accessories. This is totally a dream for me, and I'm super happy that they also included the handheld item category because I think that opens an almost endless door of possibilities for this category of items. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what to expect in terms of character customization, both in the beginning of the game and as you progress through your gameplay. All of which takes place in a regular sized world, but it feels very big because you are very small. And to explore, you'll be able to, walk around. You'll also be able to jump to reach, different heights. As I previously hinted at, your Whoopa cat does a little bit more than just act as your companion. It'll also be your glider. So you'll actually hang by the tail of your Whoopa cat to glide around the world. You do have a stamina bar for this, so you can glide a certain distance before you'll, kind of fall down. There's no fall damage though, so don't worry about that. There are also grapple points on certain maps that you can use to get around with ease. And very early on, you will unlock a skateboard as well. And this will help you kind of get around the world just a bit faster. It does use that stamina bar as well. I would say the stamina bar is very generous though, so you can use it for quite a while before you run out of stamina, and then your stamina will just naturally replenish. Now, there is a way to fast travel. You're actually going to be going between different maps. So the main way to go from map to map is the Woo Bus. So if you go to one of the Woo Bus stations, from here you can select which map you want to go to. So in the alpha build of the game, we were going between our homestead, the Whoopa Woods, and then also a place called Meteorus. And we'll talk about all these locations throughout the video, so definitely stick around. There is another way to get around that doesn't require you to go to these bus stops, and that is by calling a Woober through your phone. You can get free tickets for the Woober, or you can exchange some of your earned mini coins for a trip. Now, one of the main things you're going to be doing in Animula Nook is gathering resources, but they put one of the best spins on gathering resources that I've personally ever seen in a game like this. It is so fun. There are so many ways to collect resources, and there are so many things to do with the resources that you collect. So I want to give you guys an idea of what this kind of looks like, some examples, and the different tools that you're going to be using to gather these resources, because it is so fun. There's so much variety, and it's definitely such a standout feature in this game. So in the beginning, you start out at this desk. It's actually your desk, but of course now you're mini, so you're walking on it instead of sitting at it. You can pick up a bunch of stuff here. So there's like little coins, there's bits of paper, there's playing cards, just as some examples. And while a lot of it you can just pick up on your own, some of it you'll need to break down first. So that's where the lollipop tool comes into play. This is the first tool that you're going to unlock. There is a tool wheel, which I love. I always love a tool wheel. Using this lollipop, you can knock down like card towers, for example, coin piles. You can break open piggy banks. You can also knock down block towers. And then you can pick up all of these building blocks to be used in, again, so many different ways, from actually building to the playing cards can be used for crafting. You can place them again later on. Like, there's so much to do with the things you get to. When you're on your balcony or in the Whoopa Woods, you can also use the lollipop to break down pieces of wood just to make it smaller so you can actually collect it. You can also use this strategy to break down big pieces of resin or amber, which makes it so it's small enough for you to actually pick up and bring home with you. Now, the next tool you're going to unlock is the deformation gun. This is essentially a bubbler that, when aimed at a large item, will shrink it down so you can collect it. This tool does require ammo, so it's not unlimited uses, but you'll get tons of the ammo over time just through regular gameplay. Now, in some situations, the item that you shrink down will become a different item. So a miniature version of that item, or something inspired by that item in miniature size. But in other cases, it's actually just going to be collecting that item so that you can use it when you build and decorate. Some examples would be this potted succulent or this forgotten toy car, both of which will stay at this size. But once you've collected it like this, you can decorate with it, which is great because then you still have a variety of items that are much bigger than you to maintain that feeling of being small in a big world. And then there are still those other items that become smaller, so you can repurpose them. I would say the bulk of your resource gathering will take place in the Whoopa Woods, where you will need to actually visit using either the Woo Bus or your Whooper. And also, once you're at the Whoopa Woods, there are specific daily quests that you'll have to complete, which involve gathering resources. So for example, gather 5 dewdrops or 5 rays of sunshine. Once you complete those quests, you'll get additional rewards, so you really cannot go wrong here. Now, the first tool that you unlock in the Whoopa Woods is a slingshot. And it's so cute because you actually use little candy beans as your ammo for your slingshot. So you can use this tool to knock resources down that are out of reach for you. So for example, these dewdrops that are, up on the flowers, you can hit them down and then go collect it. You can also use the slingshot tool to aim at different flowers that play little melodies. And if you hit all of the required flowers, it'll play a little song for you, and then it'll drop some resources for you to gather. Next, you'll also get a weather glass tool, which allows you to collect sunlight and raindrops. So in the case of the sunlight, you'll just need to stand under a ray of sunshine, or a halo of sunshine as they call it, and collect that up. The same kind of goes for rain clouds. So you'll stand underneath these rain clouds and collect glistening raindrops. So this is actually one of my favorite ways to gather resources. It's super fun and super satisfying and so precious. Finally, for tools, you'll also get the aroma bottle, which is basically like a vacuum for collecting fragrances. So you'll spot these like clouds of fragrance, and you can just suck them up into the vacuum. And there's different types of fragrance, different colors. This one is also super fun to use. Honestly, the resource gathering, like I said, is just such a standout for me because there's so many different ways to collect things. There are also those more traditional ways of gathering, like just picking it up off the ground. So there's these giant flower petals that you can collect. I mean, they're regular sized flower petals. We are just small, but they look so giant. There's also fallen leaves you can pick up. There will be things like mushrooms and hazelnuts. And there's even more ways to gather resources. So for example, you can jump into these flowers to collect sparkling pollen. You can also jump up and down on tappy daisies. This is one of my other favorite ways to get resources, is jumping on those flowers. You can even climb up the stem of a joyweed and shake it to release more pollen here. You can also collect some interesting resources like snail slime, and you can actually use your skateboard in certain areas, almost like a lawnmower, to collect things like moss. So as you can see, the resource gathering is just so varied and involves more than just picking stuff up. Now, these resources you'll be bringing back with you to your homestead. So in the beginning, your desk is very cluttered, and it'll be up to you to clear it out. You can take your time with this by picking up whatever you can, using the lollipop to break down other things that are a bit too big for you to pick up, and then also that deformation gun to shrink things down and repurpose. You can also find a bunch of little floating bubbles, both on your desk and out in like the Whipple Woods, that have furniture items in them. So that's one great way of obtaining new furniture. As I previously mentioned, you can also craft furniture items. You can purchase furniture items from the shop, and you can also unlock some furniture through reaching different milestones in your gameplay. So in construction mode, you can place furniture, resources, food items, decor. There's so much you can place in this game, and you can either place it from the third-person camera perspective, or you can take a top-down approach, or what I call God mode. So there's two different ways to build, no matter your preference. They've got you covered with the building mechanics. I would say the precision is pretty good. It is on a very detailed grid. I think it'd be really nice to see the option to turn the grid off and have like free placement, but you do have the ability to place things on angles. You can put stuff on stuff as well, so you can place clutter items on top of other furniture items. And you can decorate over like the entire desk. Now, I mentioned you can craft some furniture. You do this at the Laborly, and it's interesting because they actually offer like a lot of different ways to craft things. So a lot of furniture items will require either fiber cards or wooden boards. And as you can see over on the right side here, there's a lot of different resources that you can use to craft these. As you progress through your gameplay, you'll unlock new blueprints that you can learn, and then of course you can craft those items. Pretty early on, you'll actually be able to place the Starside shop. So this is the main in-game shop where you can purchase and sell items. This shop is run by an adorable bunny named Phobo, and you will see that there are some furniture and clothing items on display, but he also has an entire catalog that you can browse through. So one thing I really appreciate about this game is that you can actually sell almost anything that you collect. That includes resources, that includes furniture items, that includes building blocks. Basically, if you have it, you can sell it. And in exchange, you'll get mini coins, which you can use to purchase furniture, clothing, and more. The items that are on display, like on the floor, do actually rotate each real life day. But I also noticed that once I purchased one, it would refresh with a new item, and it would do this a couple of times before it would actually be considered as sold out. Another really awesome thing about the shop is that you can actually trade the fragrance that you've gathered for cooking ingredients like tea leaves and ice cubes. So other than the shop, you will also get a home for yourself. Now, one thing I love about the buildings is you place them, they are instantly built, and you can move them around right away if you want to. You don't have to wait a day to move them or anything like that. Just move them at the drop of a hat. So my house that I placed actually started out with a bunch of furniture already, and I got a box of furniture for free inside too. You can totally decorate the inside of your house just like you can decorate outside. So you can place all sorts of items. You can use both build modes as well, either that top-down mode or the third-person player mode. A lot of the furniture items are also interactive, so you can, lay down on the bed, you can sit in the chairs, you can interact with the mirror to customize your character. There are items that offer you storage. There are lights you can turn on and off. So I really like furniture interactions, and I was really happy to see lots of that included here. Now, the other main type of building that you can have on your homestead are mini houses. And to do this, you'll actually first place a homestead foundation. Once you have the foundation placed, you can invite a mini that you've already met to live on your homestead. So in the beginning, your only option will be Dilly. We love Dilly, but as you meet more minis, you can invite them to live with you as well. Each of the minis have their own kind of vibe going on for their home, so there'll be different exteriors and then also different furniture requirements that you'll need to place down for them before they'll move in. But they do give you these pieces of furniture. You don't have to provide them yourself, which is nice, and I think that's a fun little mechanic to have to kind of get their place ready for them before they move in. Now, as you progress with building your homestead, you can actually track the progress that you've made. And once you reach certain milestones, so doing things like cleaning up your plots, placing more buildings, and inviting more minis to live with you, you'll level up and unlock rewards. These rewards seem to center around actually building structures piece by piece. So the homestead customization goes beyond just decorating and also does involve building, again with that unique spin on it. And so this progress is measured separately for your desktop and your balcony. But you'll also see that there are 3 other locations that appear to be customizable. This is definitely something that we speculated on based on previous trailers, but now that we've actually got our hands on the gameplay, we can see that this is all essentially confirmed. It does appear that we will be able to build out our homestead on the book cabinet, the knit stool, and even in the terrarium. So I am super excited for this. And I can't wait to see those 3 environments as well. So although you're probably going to spend a lot of your time building and customizing on your homestead, there are other life skills and hobbies that you can practice here. And for each of these hobbies, you will unlock new skills and features as you progress down each path. Now, the first hobby is actually technically construction, but we've already covered that pretty in depth. The one additional thing I wanted to point out about this hobby is that you can unlock different blueprint packs, and you can actually place entire scenes that you'll then need to contribute the individual furniture pieces to complete. So if you ever feel like decorating seems a little bit overwhelming or you don't know where to start, I think this is a great feature to have these pre-made little scenes that you can just work to complete as is. Now, the next hobby is planting, and as you progress, you'll unlock new types of plants to grow. Once you have planted your seedlings on your balcony, you'll water them with the water that you've collected while you're out in the Whoopa Woods, and then you'll also sprinkle them with sunshine, which I think is such a nice touch. You can also have your plants instantly grow using a certain type of weather. However, I wasn't able to collect that in the alpha, though the team did send some out in the mail, so we got to try that out, which was pretty cool. It's another unique spin on a classic system. The crops that you grow and harvest could be sold to the shop if you'd like, but you can also cook with them. And that leads us to the next hobby, which is cooking. As you progress through this hobby, you'll unlock new ways to cook and new recipes. So for example, you'll be able to brew tea and even unlock a blender to make smoothies. There are little mini games for the cooking process, and some of the recipes require multiple steps, so you might need to chop up the fruit first before you put it in the blender to make your smoothie. The cooking system does also use resources like dewdrops, flower petals, nectars, things that you will also be collecting while you're out and about. The food can be sold, it can be consumed for stamina boost, it can also be placed as decoration, so there's lots to do with the food as well. The next hobby is dancing, which can be done on your own or with a group of up to 7 players, which could be really fun. You'll unlock different routines that are set to different songs. I was actually really impressed with the variety of dance moves that are available. When you perform a dance, you'll complete a little rhythm-based minigame, but you can also string together some improv moves to create your own routine. In a similar vein, there's also the performance hobby, which involves playing music. So again, here you'll unlock the ability to perform different songs on your own or with friends, and you can also choose from a variety of different instruments. This type of performance involves a different rhythm-based minigame. I'm not sure how much I personally will participate in these 2 hobbies. I think they're super cute and charming though. I think they would be especially fun to do at specific events and specifically with friends. And speaking of friends, we are going to talk about friendships in Animula Nook, as well as multiplayer features. So even if you're playing on your own, you're going to be surrounded by the adorable, charming minis that inhabit the world. Some of these are doll-like characters, and others are animal-like characters. And there's so many different NPCs, each with their own unique look. They've got their own personalities, their likes and dislikes. So once you meet the minis out in the world, you will be able to add them to your contact list. And then once you have them in your contact list, you can actually message them, and this will help you grow closer with them and level up your relationship. You can also call them just for a chat, or you can even decide to invite them to live at your homestead. I really love the variety of characters so far. I didn't know if I was going to be attached to any of them or connect with any of them just from the trailers, but I already have some that I absolutely love. Dilly and Vandy are 2 of my favorites so far, but I have only met a handful of the characters, so I can't wait to continue meeting more and getting to know their personalities. Now, if you do want to play with friends, there are tons of things to do together. The Whoopa Woods is a shared area, so you will run into other players there regardless. And there are some social activities going on here that are collaborative. So the first one is this tea brewing activity, and you'll work together with other players to pop balloons using your slingshot and drop different types of fruits into the tea that you're brewing. Once you complete this activity, you'll be given a reward depending on your performance as a group, and everyone gets the same reward, so I think that is really nice. Similarly to this one, there's another activity deeper in the Whoopa Woods, which involves catching the mushroom spore rain. So again, here you're going to be collecting different colors of mushroom spore rain. You're going to be jumping from mushroom to mushroom, gliding around, and just collecting as much as you can within a limited time. And once the timer reaches 0, depending on your performance with other players, you'll be given a reward as well. One of the standout features in this game for multiplayer is the fact that there are so many fun and adorable emotes to use. Like, for example, I was playing rock, paper, scissors with this player for a little bit. It was so cute. And there's a ton more emotes to unlock as well. These are just a few I had at the time. Now, the other thing you can do in multiplayer is you can actually visit another player's homestead. So you can specifically visit a friend's house or a squad member's house, but you can also just visit a random player's home. There are specific settings for your homestead, so you can choose if you want to have it open for everyone, to just your friends, to your friends and squad members, or completely closed for no visitors. But if you do want to go to a random person's place, you totally can for like a surprise visit. And the really cool thing about this, which was actually part of the tutorial, is you can visit their shop. And their shop will have different unique furniture items on display compared with yours. So if you want to go shopping at your friend's place and you want to invite your friends over, you can basically find different furniture items by doing this. Now, one of the main features for multiplayer in Animula Nook are visits to Demetiorus. Now, you can actually visit Demetiorus completely on your own. That's what I did. But it is something that you can party up to complete together. And I would describe this as something similar to a dungeon. And essentially how this works is you're going to have different stages of this dungeon in Demetiorus where you can gather a ton of completely unique resources. In this dungeon, they were all like art themed. So I was collecting like little bits of pigment and paints. There were stardust ores. There were crumpled up bits of paper. There was lots of different types of resources, and you're going to be using like all the different tools to collect them. So you're going to be using the lollipop. You're going to be using your slingshot, your fragrance collector. There's even more ways to gather unique resources here. Like, for example, this lost package or this emotions paint can, which I thought was really fun. And again, very whimsical, very magical. There are like Whoopa cat-esque enemies as well that have this artsy kind of spin on them. So you can engage in some light combat here using your lollipop or slingshot, but you could also just avoid them if you didn't want to engage. If you do defeat them, you will get a unique resource from them as well, alongside everything else that you're gathering. Now, what happens is once you leave that beginning bubble, you have a sanity meter that is slowly going down. And that's basically indicating the amount of time that you're able to spend outside of the safe zone. Once you complete a stage, you'll be able to unlock a portal to the next stage. If you spend too much time outside of safety, your sanity will drop very low. And at a certain point, you will simply run out of sanity and you'll be taken out of the dungeon. At the end, you'll see, how many resources you gathered, and all of these will be traded for star mark coins. This is a type of currency that seems to be exclusively earned through the dungeons. And you can exchange this at the Star Mark shop, which is also located at Demetiorus and has different resources available, lots of furniture items to purchase, and even some card packs. More on that next. So on top of everything we've already discussed, there's also lots of ways to unlock rewards and new features as you progress through your gameplay. As I've mentioned, Dilly is the first character that you're going to meet, and she'll get you all set up with being an official Wish Weaver. This allows you to track your Wish Weaver level, and you do this by collecting something called emoji. It's basically like a type of XP. So the more you do, the more you collect, the more you will level up, and as you level up, you're going to unlock tons of unique rewards, including like the skateboard, different buildings, different furniture items, resources, the shop. So lots of the main things you're unlocking are through the Wish Weaver level system. You can physically see and pick up the emoji. You can also complete specific achievements to get extra emoji or XP. And then honestly, I feel like basically every single action you take gives you additional XP or emoji. So whether that be harvesting crops, gathering resources, like basically everything you're doing is going to help you level up. One of my favorite little things that you unlock as you level up are mystery furniture boxes. It will tell you, based on the color, what type of furniture it'll be. It could be specifically for the walls. It could be specifically like a table, but then it's completely random once you open it. It's just so fun. I really love little surprise boxes like this. There are also those daily quests that you can do, which will get you additional experience alongside some other rewards like mini coins, resources, and Starside credits, which we will talk about in just a moment. In your phone, you also have access to your journal, and here you can unlock a bunch of emotes and even some handheld items. Now, to unlock all of these super adorable, charming features, you're using something called Life's Spark. And you're gathering Life's Spark basically all the time. It's essentially your character getting inspired, and it can come from something as simple as sitting down on a bench or discovering that you can turn on a light. So as you explore, as you make discoveries, as you enjoy life's simple moments, you're going to be gaining this sort of inspiration, this Life's Spark, and then you can trade that in for a ton of emotes. This awesome handheld item is like a paintbrush, but it also comes with an emote where you can sweep. So I love this whole system, and I hope to see more of these specific types of actions because I feel like it helps you immerse yourself even more in the world by doing something like, sweeping out front of your house or cleaning up around your minis places. Now, you previously saw those little card packs that were available from the shop at Demedioris, but there's other ways to get these card packs. The primary method seems to be by doing your daily quests. When you do those daily quests, as I mentioned, you're going to get the Starside credits, and once you reach certain milestones of those Starside credits, you're going to get card packs. There's new card packs to unlock every single week, and this is all in-game and earned. So you're not purchasing these card packs, you are doing quests in exchange for them. Once you get your card packs, you're opening them, you're getting mystery cards. They're super cute. They're all like inspired by the game. And then once you complete different series or different collections of cards, you get different rewards. You also get rewards along the way just for reaching a certain number of cards. So even if you don't complete a set, you're going to get rewards as you go. These rewards at this point in the alpha build were all like furniture items and building items. And the great thing about this was that not only did you get the item itself, but you also got a blueprint so that you could craft additional pieces of that furniture item, which I love to see. It does also look like you'll be able to trade these cards, and I think that could be really fun if, you're missing a certain card in a set and your friend might have that one. You can maybe swap it with them to each complete your sets. Overall, I was honestly really impressed with this early alpha build of Animula Nook. The standout features for me were definitely character customization, the Homestead features with building and customization here, along with the incredible, thoughtful resource gathering, both in terms of like the resources themselves and the ways you go about doing so. I've been having so much fun playing this game, and probably one of the biggest surprises for me was actually how close to what we've seen of the game so far the current alpha build of the game actually looks. I love the art style of it. I think, there's some areas where they definitely will need to optimize and refine and polish some visual things, some performance things here and there. But this is such an early build of the game that I honestly I expect that to happen at some point, especially now that they're gathering player feedback on what folks would like to see. I was also really surprised at how much I absolutely loved the different mini characters. Like I said, that was something I was on the fence on. I wasn't sure if I would connect with them, but I really love the ones I've met so far. I love how much variety there is in the different characters, and I definitely have that desire to invite certain ones to my homestead and, customize their little yards and stuff like that. I was also super surprised to have that confirmation that we will be able to build not just on the desk and the balcony, but also in those other areas like the terrarium, the chair, and the bookshelf. And I really appreciated how much you're always unlocking too. Like, you're constantly being rewarded for just playing the game, whether that be getting a little bit of inspiration from a small moment or getting experience from doing literally every action. On top of that, you have so many collectibles and rewards, new furniture, new clothing, new blueprints for crafting, the card packs. Like, there was just so much to engage with that felt really rewarding. And again, the gameplay was really fun, especially the resource gathering and the building and decorating. So I cannot wait to see, how this game evolves between now and the full release, which, as a reminder, Animula Nook is releasing free to play on Steam, Epic, Nintendo Switch 2, and PlayStation 5, though we don't have a confirmed release date just yet. So there you have it, friends. Those were my thoughts on my time with the alpha test for Animula Nook. Be sure to share your thoughts with me down in the comments. Anything and everything. I always love hearing from you. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. And until next time, take care.